I don't have a lot of regrets in life, and my way of looking at it is that every mistake that you make in life is just part of the learning curve. The next thing is certainly one thing that I really do regret not doing, and I'm sure that you guys understand why. So you might be asking yourself, what is this one thing that I regret and why am I telling you this? The thing that I really regret not doing is converting more of my South African rands to US dollars. If you are someone that has been tracking the markets or you are interested in investing in any kind of way, you probably know that the dollar is very strong at the moment. So obviously that's not good news for South Africa. So let's say I want to invest more of my own hard-earned South African rands into this company that I will be talking about in this video. It's going to cost me around 18 Rand for $1. Currently it dropped just below 18 Rand, which is the lowest it has been in quite a while. And that's pretty expensive for a US dollar. If there's one thing that you guys can take away from this video, that would be to convert as much as possible South African rands to US dollars as soon as it reaches around 14 or 15 Rand. I'm not sure if we are going to see anything close to that anytime soon, but it sure helps to be optimistic. With that out of the way, that is enough ranting from me. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys one company that you definitely should have in your stock portfolio. This is a company that has been growing tremendously. They really have great earnings and they actually just released their latest Q4 earnings report. The reason why I want to share this information with you guys is obviously I want you to grow your net worth and grow your income as much as possible. And I feel that sharing this information will help you to see the opportunities that is in front of us. With that said, the main reason why I am mentioning this specific company is for 3 reasons. The first reason is because of the amount of capital that the company returns to its shareholders, either through stock repurchases or dividends that gets paid out. Number 2, which is a very big deal to me, is the amount of cash flow this company generates from its operations. And lastly, number 3 is because of the growth in literally every part of the business that we can see. And this company's latest Q4 results showed that they had a double-digit increase from revenue up until net income. So I've talked about this company before and I really like what they are doing. They just have a phenomenal business model. So the company that we are going to talk about today is Visa. Visa is the world's second largest payment organization. We've all seen the Visa logos on our debit and credit cards. And one interesting fact is a lot of people have a misperception about how Visa generates their revenue. People say that every time you swipe your Visa card, Visa gets a cut of that, but that is not actually true. Visa makes its profits by selling services as a middleman to financial institutions and merchants. So this is basically the business model that Visa has, and they have generated a load of money. So today what we are going to do is I am going to jump to my screen and we are going to have a look at the latest Q4 results that Visa reported. With that said, there's quite a lot of technical stuff that we are going to look at, but I'm really going to try to keep it as simple as possible. So first of all, we are going to start at the top line. People call it the top line because it's literally the line at the top of an income statement, and that is net revenue. Visa's revenue has grown to 7.8 billion, which is a double-digit increase of 19%, or when you take the constant dollar basis in consideration, that would be 23%. Currently, we are not seeing this type of growth with a lot of businesses out there. For the full year results, their net revenue increased to 29.3 billion, or an increase of 22%. That is really, really good. Some of the other highlights that Visa shared, and this is always interesting to read. So they said that the fiscal fourth quarter payments volume and processed transactions growth remained strong, and while cross-border volume continued to recover. This just means that they do see a lot of growth, and their cross-border volume continues to recover. Another interesting fact, and something that I really love about Visa, is that they returned $2.9 billion and $14 billion of capital to shareholders for the fiscal fourth quarter and full year respectively. That is done through either share repurchases or dividends. Another great thing to see is that Visa keeps raising their quarterly dividend, and now they decided to raise it with 20% to $0.45. That is quite a big increase if you ask me. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to have a look at the net revenues. Here we can see that the net revenues increased with 19% to a total of $7.8 billion. We're going to scroll down, and we want to have a look at the payments volume that Visa reported. They show that the payments volume in quarter 4 increased with 10%, again double-digit growth. The cross-border volume, excluding intra-Europe volumes, is 49%, and cross-border volume in total is 36%. The processed transactions that they've made is up 12% as well. So if you don't really understand this just means that everything is growing and everything is going up. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys is the net income of Visa. Here we can see that they generated 3.9 billion in net income, which is again a 10% increase. Something that I really like to look at on the income statements is generally to see whether there is growth or not. And when we have a look at the revenues that Visa generates, we can see that everywhere, all of their services generated double-digit growth, and this is really quite good to see for a long-term investor. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down, and we're going to have a look at the balance sheet, because this is ultimately how we determine whether the company is in a good financial position or not. Visa doesn't necessarily have the best balance sheet out there, but they do still have a decent and a solid balance sheet. So one thing that we want to look at is to see whether they can still handle their debt or not. And we're going to start with the cash and cash equivalents, which shows that they are currently sitting with $15.6 billion of cash and cash equivalents. Unfortunately, it is down from the previous year, but that is still quite a lot of cash that they have. Although their cash position is down a bit, their total current assets has been growing, and it's up from 27 billion to $30 billion. Next, what I wanted to show you guys is the total assets that Visa has, and that again is also up from 82 billion to 85 billion. Visa almost has enough cash and cash equivalents to pay off their current liabilities. This is not like Google, where Google can basically pay off their entire balance sheet or the entire liabilities. But this is still something that we have to look at. And the thing is about Visa, they are a cash generating machine. So they generate a lot of cash during a quarter, and they have a lot of cash available to pay off stuff like this. The total liabilities of Visa is also less than their total assets, which is also good. And the total current assets is enough to pay off the total current liabilities. Next, we are going to jump to the statement of cash flow. And this is really the main reason why I like investing in the business. I'm going to show you guys immediately the net cash provided by operating activities meaning the amount of cash that the company generates from doing what they are doing has gone up from 15 billion to 18, almost 19 billion dollars. And this is really just great to see because I invest for cash flow, and ultimately cash flow is king with big businesses like these. And this just means that the company's operation is very profitable. Another thing that I really like to see is under financial activities, and that is the repurchase of common stock. We can see that they have been increasing their stock repurchases from 8 billion to $11.5 billion. Visa is buying up their own shares like crazy, and this is just a great way to return capital to shareholders, which is obviously me and other investors. Visa is really just a pretty solid business. These are just a few things that I wanted to share with you guys that I personally look at. This is obviously quite quick, and there's a lot of other details that we need to be able to look at. Unfortunately, if I analyze this balance sheet and analyze the income and cash flow statement, this will be an hour-long video, and it's definitely not necessarily something that everyone will enjoy. With that said, before we end off this video, there's just one last thing that I wanted to show you guys. And obviously, you know the Stock Unlock platform. If you've watched Daniel Pronk's videos on YouTube, he makes great fundamental analysis videos, and that really just gives me inspiration to make similar videos. So we're going to jump to Visa's information. What I wanted to show you guys is the insight score that Visa receives. The general score is very good. It's 4.24 out of 5. The dividends is very good because of its constant growth. The growth is a 4 out of 5, and analysts say that it is a very good company to invest in. They have a great profitability score, a great return score. So ultimately, Visa is definitely one company to consider investing in this year. The last thing that I wanted to show you guys is the price to operating cash flow. And the historical average of Visa's price to operating cash flow is 28, almost 29. And currently it is trading at around 23, almost 24. So it's definitely close to that lows. And it means that the stock is really selling for a decent price. Lastly, I just wanted to show you the current ratio of Visa because a lot of people don't think Visa necessarily has the best balance sheet, but they have a current ratio of 1.4, which basically means that the company has more current assets than current liabilities. Anything above 1 is considered good. So with that said, guys, I really hope that you liked this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, go and have a look at some of my other videos, and I really do hope that this helped you in some way.